Hello there, and then welcome to a brand new video. Now in this video we are looking at ratio, just an introduction on the concept of what ratio. So when you say ratio, what do we mean by ratio? You can take your pen, your books, and then what have you, and take some notes, and also try and then solve the questions that I ask as well. So let's look at this first question over here. So the question says, I have 4 oranges and then you have 8. Who has more? Do I have more than you, or you have more than me? And then by how many more, right? Now, this simple question here is where ratio helps us, right? So ratio shows us how much more or less one quantity is than another. You see, so let's define what ratio is. After it all, you can come back to this question and try and answer it. If you know it already, you can just put it at the comment section as well. So what is ratio? So on top of ratio, it is the comparison between two or more quantities using divisions, right? You want to compare two or more quantities. You want to do that by using division. That is what we call what? Ratio. Let's look at some examples so we see what it actually means. It says there are 60 boys and 120 girls in a school. What is the ratio of boys to girls? We want the ratio of what? Boys to girls. As we have said, the ratio will compare these two quantities using divisions, right? And how do we write ratio? Per the question, it says we want the ratio of what? Boys to girls. So you can rewrite it as boys to girls, right? This is one way you can write it. Either way, you can also write it as fraction, you see. So instead of boys to girls, you can write it as boys over what? Girls. They are all what? Accepted. But for simplicity's sake, let's look at this one over here. So if you want the ratio of boys to girls, what you do is you look at the quantity or the number of boys we have over here. You see, so the number of boys over here, they are what? 60. So you come and then put your 60 over here. Then S2. How many girls do you have? We have what? 120. So you put that 120 over here. So what it simply means is that the ratio of boys to girls is 60 is to 120. And what does it mean? It means for every 60 boys, there are what? 120 girls. There is something we call simplification of ratio. Just as we are able to simplify fractions, we can also simplify ratio as well. So if you want to simplify ratio, it's best you put it in fraction. You have 60 over 120. Then you just divide by what? Their highest common factor, right? Or any way you choose to simplify it, fine. So you have 0 here, canceling the 0, then 6 into itself once, and then into the 100 and into 12, how many times? Twice. So you are left with what? 1 over 2. So what this means is if we wanted to rewrite our ratio, that is 60 is to 120, we would have as well written it as 1 is to what? 2. You see, hence the ratio of boys to girls is what? 1 is to 2. Let's look at another example to enhance our understanding. So this second question here says, what is the ratio of flour to water? If the recipe use what? 4 cups of flour to 2 cups of water. So how do we go about it? Our solution. Looking at the question, it says, what is the ratio of flour to water? You see, so we can say, okay, so we need the ratio of flour to water. Then we look at the quantity of flour that was used per the recipe. So it says 4 cups of flour. So that is 4 is to, then how many cups of water? 2 cups of water. So it's to what? 2, right? Then you now simplify. So simplifying, we just divide through by what? Their highest common factor. 4 divided by 2 gives us what? A 2. So I'll just write my 2 over here. And then 2 divided by 2 also gives us what? A 1, right? So this implies that the ratio of flour to water is 2 is to 1, which means for every cup of water, that is for 1 cup of water, you need 2 cups of flour. That is what this ratio here means. For every 1, you need what? 2. All right. Okay. So now that we know the basic ways of writing ratios, let's look at how we can describe quantities with the language of what? Ratio. In this section, we'll just be looking at terms such as twice as many, half, and then 3 times more, right? There are more, but if you're able to understand these basic ones, I'm sure you'd be able to what? Apply them as well. So let's say you have this, we have this statement here that says, Odai is twice as old as John. Twice as old as John, right? It is actually expressing a ratio between the age of Odai and then that of John, you see. So it is a ratio of Odai to John. And it's saying Odai is twice as old as John. So what that means is for every year of John's age, Odai is twice as much. That is 2 times of it. You see, this is what we mean by twice as old as. That is what this term twice here means. So it means the ratio of Odai to John's age is what? 2 is to 1. You see, that is 2 is to what? 1. So for this last one here, it says there are 30 plastic chairs and 10 wooden chairs. Now, what is the relationship between the number of plastic chairs and then wooden chairs? We want to apply ratio here, the language of ratio, right? So we simply want plastics toward the wooden. And as we've done, we would look for the number of plastic chairs. That is 30 is to number of wooden chairs, they are just 10. If you are to simplify, you are going to get what? 3 is to 1, right? So if you want the relationship, what we are going to say is the number of plastic chairs is thrice as much as the number of wooden chairs. That is the relationship here. You see, the number of plastic chairs is what? Thrice, right? As much as what? The number of wooden chairs. Because for every wooden chair, you're going to get what? 3 times the plastic chairs, right? So that is that for this particular session. I'll write out some trial work you can do and then just to test your understanding. So these are some questions you can try your hands on. You have to express the following as ratio in their simplest form. The first one says for every 3 balls of swallow, there are 2 fishes. The second one, in a zoo, each lion is paired with 3 antelopes. Then the third one, a family has 2 adults and 6 children. What is the ratio of adults to children? I do hope this video was helpful. If there's any issue of concern, you can let me know at the comment section and I'll get to that for you. Stay blessed and then happy learning. Bye and then see you in our next video. Bye.